Hello friends and welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'm really glad you're here. If you're new here, my name is Becca and this channel is all about my love for spinning, knitting, weaving, crocheting, sewing, all the fiber things. Thank you to all the new viewers and subscribers. We're really getting quite a crowd around here. I'm very excited about that. I invite you to grab whatever project you have on the go and join me. Let's make some stuff. Was that stressful for you? It was for me. So if you haven't seen my previous videos about this project. This is my Monarch Shawl. This is a project of my own design that was inspired by a design by Christel Seyfarth. It is a triangular shawl that is knitted in the round in Fair Isle style from the bottom of the triangle up to the top border. And then, as you just saw, the steek is cut apart so that the triangle will lay flat. That steek I first sewed with a machine stitch, zigzag stitch, along either side of where I was going to cut so that the ends would hopefully not unravel too much. This is knit in a wool, 100% wool, Knit Picks palette wool, in a variety of colors as you see behind me. And because it's knit in 100% wool, it doesn't tend to want to unravel too easily, but it still will if you're too rough with it. And so yeah, that was the steek, cutting the big steek, which, you know, this is when you've been working on a project for several weeks or months even sometimes, getting the scissors out and cutting into your knitting can be intimidating. This is not my first steeking project. I've done several, but it is every time a little bit stressful, and I try to think twice before I cut, just to make sure that I'm not making any huge errors that I can't fix. So the next step after cutting the steek is to pick up and knit the borders. And now I'll show you what that looks like because I've already done it. So the first step of the border is to do the border, the contrasting border along the bottom. So this shawl has a bottom contrasting triangle and then a contrasting border. And the border all the way around is knitted to be double-faced and then sewn down to the back. So it encloses in all of the steeked edges. But these are also knit in the round, so they're picked up and knit in the round with a steek at the top. On the front side, it has a half of the butterfly pattern. That's the same pattern as the all over, but instead of being knit in this direction, it's actually knit in the opposite direction. And because knitting is not symmetric, it makes it look quite a bit different in that pattern. And then on the back side, it's just stripes. Then, after that part of the border is done, the long side borders are again picked up and knit in the round. The borders all the way around have a row of purl stitching that makes a nice fold, a nice clean fold when you fold it over. And then that border is also steeked at the bottom. So when those were done, I cut open the smaller steeks, pressed everything out flat, and then proceeded to the finishing step, which is to weave in all the ends. And because we did the technique where we were felting the ends together as we went along, we didn't have too many ends to weave in. But then to sew up the borders. So sewing along the corners, sewing along the edge between the contrasting border, and then all the way around on the inside, stitching that border down, enclosing the raw edge. And at that point, the shawl was basically finished. One more press, and there it is. There was one final step, which this is optional, but I think it adds a little nice pizzazz, and that is pom-poms at each of the 3 points. So come along with me now, let's make some pom-poms. Next, I'd like to tell you a little bit about the scarf that I'm wearing. This is one of my own crocheted patterns. This is called Crop Circles, and it represents the way that they do the farming out in western Kansas, where it's very dry, and they irrigate in a circular pattern so that the crops actually turn into these circular patterns in a very dark brown grid with the blue wide open skies of western Kansas, where it's very flat. So this is the Crop Circle scarf, part of my Knitted Kansas collection, and this pattern is available on my Ravelry page and on my Etsy shop. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this look at the final project of the Monarch Shawl. I will be sharing this pattern on my Ravelry and my Etsy page, and I will be looking for test knitters in the future. So if you are interested in that, you can contact me through any of my social media, which are on the screen at the end of this video. Thank you so much for spending some of your creative time with me. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!